Hi everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Nikki. I'm 42 years old, and in March this year I was diagnosed with grade 3 breast cancer. And this is my first video diary that I hope will show you, for anybody that's going through cancer, that cancer can be a positive thing. And I hope the next 6 months will show you that you can beat it, and it doesn't have to take over your life and be a miserable experience. So this week is the probably the biggest week of my life in that my 6 months of chemo starts this Friday. I had a lumpectomy in March, 2 weeks after I was diagnosed. Had a lump under my right nipple, and I had all of my lymph nodes removed under this arm as well. So it's all been quite quick. And obviously the chemo is the most difficult bit of the treatment, I think, for anybody to get their head around, particularly a woman, I guess, with all the side effects that are supposed to come with it. So I hope that over the next 6 months I can show you through the video some of the techniques and tips that I've been given or used to help me cope better with all the various things that are going to be happening in my life. Today I'm having my hair cut in preparation for the chemo on Friday. I've been told that it's pretty much certain that you lose your hair. So after having a sort of 6 weeks to get my head around that fact, I'm kind of pretty used to the idea now. I've been trying out lots of scarves and keeping my hair tied back some days to try and get used to not having all of this here. And for any of you out there that have long hair and are a bit shy at times like me, my hair really is my shield and a bit of a mask to hide behind. So it's going to be a real mental challenge for me to overcome it. But I've been inspired by lots of people who've been through chemo, who've lost their hair, who basically have said, that you are not your hair and you are more than your hair. And I am Nikki and I'm not my hair. And the more I tell that to myself, the more I believe it and can accept it. So today it's going to be cut, I think, probably just to here, that stage, just to get used to it. And I'm prepared for the having it shaved off in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks if it all starts to fall out. So today is kind of the first phase in getting used to the new me. So what else can I tell you before I dash off to the hairdressers? So I suppose, being told that you have cancer, any form of cancer, is always going to be a bit of a shock, especially if, like me, you never ever thought it would happen to you. I would consider myself, I don't smoke, so I'm reasonably healthy. I don't smoke, I've got no history of it, although the last 3 years of my life I have abused my body, not feeding it well, and I've had to deal with lots and lots of stress in my kind of personal and professional life. So whether that's got anything to do with the cancer, I don't know, but it has taught me that I need to change my lifestyle and the way that I live and what I eat, and not just for myself, but also for my children. So being diagnosed was a real wake-up call in many ways, because it's a time when you really think about you, those around you, the mistakes that you've made in your life and what you want out of life and how you're going to change things. And following the diagnosis, it's like it's obviously a long journey. Being told that you have cancer in the first instance is just one bit of the journey. The next stage is then having a CT scan and finding out whether the cancer's spread, and that's almost more scary than being told you've got cancer, because you're hoping that it's confined to one area and it hasn't gone anywhere else. So personally, the CT scan was probably the most scary bit, I guess, so far of the journey, because waiting for the results of the CT scan to be told that no, it's okay, as far as we can see, it's only here, it hasn't gone anywhere else, means you have hope, and means you have an excellent chance of getting through it and getting through the recovery and it going away, and there you go. So the CT scan was difficult. As soon as I got the news that I was okay, that was probably one of the happiest days of my life. And it's a very bizarre thing to celebrate being told that you only have breast cancer. and it hasn't gone anywhere else. It's a really kind of surreal experience. You know, you really do take every small bit of good news, and celebrate it, and you know, be really grateful for it. So following the CT scan, there are a couple of things that happened that have kind of got me in a positive place now. You know, there were the night before the CT scan results actually. One of my best friends, Jane, she bought me a book. This one here. It's called Natural Strategies for Cancer Patients, and she bought me this book, and I was feeling pretty down actually, obviously waiting for the results on the Wednesday, I think it was. And anyway, I couldn't sleep that night, obviously worried about the results, and I woke up at 2 in the morning, got up, and I basically read this book pretty much cover to cover. Not everything, but the important bits. And what it did for me is it gave me control. It showed me that there were things that I could do personally to not let this be something that was taking control of me. And it was again, this was a real wake-up call, this book, because it talks about why cancer happens, and you know, the amount of rubbish that we put inside our bodies, and the fact that our bodies need to be healthy, our cells need to be healthy to be able to combat disease. And if we, like me, live on a diet of sugar, pretty much, crisps and cakes, biscuits, you name it, all the rubbish that you can think of, and don't eat enough vegetables, then you know your body's going to not be in a really good shape to be able to combat illnesses, and particularly cancer. So that was a real wake-up call for me, and it scared the hell out of me really, because my kids, I have 2 children. My daughter's 13 and I have a son who's 6, and I don't really feed them that well when I think about it. You know, kids don't like vegetables, and I don't really make a big issue of them eating them. You know, I spoil them sometimes with chocolates and sweets and cakes, and I'm not doing them any favours at all. And what this book's shown me is how important good diet and to treat your body well is in order to remain healthy. So I read this book cover to cover, and there are things in this book that you can do when you're diagnosed with cancer that you can change just like that and make a difference to your lifestyle. There's huge sections on if you decide to go through, if you have to have chemo, what things that you can do to make sure that your body can deal with the chemo in the best way possible, because obviously chemo itself is a pretty awful drug. It's there to kill the bad stuff, but it also kills the good stuff, and when the good stuff gets killed, then obviously that's when your body's not at its best. So anyway, so this book, I don't know the man who wrote it, but it's written in a way that made me feel confident that he knows what he's talking about, and it's changed my life, and I hope it's one of the things that is going to save my life. So that's that. The other thing that I read about, obviously through the book and talking to other people, is how important vegetables are and how our bodies digest vegetables. And lots of people who write about cancer and so on talk about the importance of having a raw diet or juicing. And for me, the concept of juicing and drinking vegetables was pretty horrific. You know, I'm not someone who eats a lot of vegetables, and you know, I have a very sensitive gag reflex. So anything that goes in my mouth that I don't like the taste of pretty much comes out 2 or 3 seconds afterwards. So the concept of changing my diet in order for my body to be able to absorb the nutrients really quickly, and the way you do that is to apparently to juice your vegetables and drink them raw, because your body can, the nutrients, your body can break down the goodness, like take the goodness in a much easier way than if you're eating an apple raw or crunching on a carrot. Makes perfect sense to me. So I ordered a juicer. It's a good juicer actually. It's a Philips. I'll show you on another video, and I'll show you the juices that I've made. But anyway, I ordered a juicer, and the juicer luckily came in this brilliant book. It's called The Funky Fresh Juice Book by a guy called Jason Vale. And he's an inspiring person when you read his book, and he is on a crusade to make sure that everybody understands the importance of juicing. And having tried the recipes and started juicing, I can absolutely understand why. So if you've never juiced, give it a go, honestly. They taste delicious. And I never thought that I would be drinking raw spinach, broccoli, carrots, red pepper, ginger, lime, pears, apple, celery and cucumber in one drink for breakfast and think, that tastes quite nice. But it does. And so I've been juicing I've had a bit of a relapse last week, so I was on holiday for a week before my chemo, so I was a bit naughty last week, so I was away in Greece, but before that I've been juicing for about 3 weeks solid. And not only does it make your skin look amazing, it makes you feel great, especially in the morning when you have a juice. You feel mentally kind of set up for the day. Jason talks about the fact that, you know, if you juice, it is a meal in itself. It's hard to get your head around that, really, isn't it? That you're drinking a pint of vegetable juice or fruit and vegetable juice, how that's going to fill you up. But it's true, after about 20 minutes you think, actually I don't need anything else, and the juice really does work. So this, I hope as well, is another thing that will save my life and hopefully ensure that my children lead a healthy lifestyle too, because actually my kids hate vegetables, but they can drink them in juice form because they taste really nice. So these two books have given me power. They're the two things that have inspired me to be really positive about cancer and breast cancer and the treatment that's going to come. Because mentally for me, I'm doing things myself. I'm taking control of my own body. I'm doing things that are making me personally healthy, making my body a better body. So that when all the chemo and everything's through, I'm going to come out at the end of it and I'm going to be like Superwoman. I'm going to be turbocharged and I'm going to be a much better person at the end of the whole experience. So they're the two things I would say. And there are moments where I scare myself because I'm not that scared about the chemo. So I might find that I'm being really naive, but actually I'm at the point now where I think, bring it on, okay? I can accept now that I'm not going to have any hair if that all goes, and it's going to be a bit weird, but I'm going to get through it, and I hope that I'm going to be strong physically and mentally enough to get across the next 6 months and come out the other side a much better, healthier, more positive person, and hopefully somebody that can touch other people's lives in the way that my friends and people that I've met along the way have touched mine. So that's my first video diary. Love to all my lovely, lovely, lovely friends and my kids and my family who are there with me. And when you see me next time, I will look a little bit different. Ciao.